What's up, everybody? Just going to give a few minutes here for people to jump on. That's why. All right, guys. So today I'm going to be talking to you about your goals for 2019. First of all, welcome to the REO Show. This is episode number 5. If you are going to be watching, I hope you will tag someone or share the stream. At the end of this, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get this course by Tony Robbins that I will be glad to send to you. It's about goal setting. It's one of my favorite courses he ever did. It's called Time of Your Life. So I will be sending that out to you, to all those that share the stream, and I'll give you an opportunity to shoot me an email afterwards where you can get that and use it. All right. So first of all, I wanted to talk about goals because most people get to the end of the year and then in January, they start planning their year. And that's the exact wrong time to be doing it. We should be doing it right now. So I've gone through a lot of different goals courses, and this is going to be sort of a mixture of all the things that I've learned and things that have helped me go from owning 6 rental properties to having bought collectively over 150 deals this past year and creating 6 figures worth of income for businesses. So this is, if you use this and you do it the way that I've used it, or even make it your own, it's invaluable. This is some great material, so I hope you'll take some notes, okay? So first of all, why should you set goals, all right? Well, you're 24 times more likely to produce the life and the results that you want if you actually get clear and sit down and write out your goals, okay? Secondly, average people don't do it, all right? So most people spend a lot more time planning a vacation than they actually do on writing down and executing their goals, which is really kind of sad. All right. So, and the more repeatedly that you write these things down, I write my goals down at minimum once a day. I try to do it twice a day. I don't always get it right, but I do write them down at least once a day and visualize. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But the more repeatedly that you look at things that you want, the more your mind draws to it and those things, and therefore they need to be in front of you constantly. All right. So if you're seeing the same things over and over and over again, your mind, your brain begins to produce the things you need in order to achieve those goals, whether it be ideas, strategies, connections, whatever that may be. All right. So first and foremost, think about, all right, where am I going to go this year in 2019? Who do I want to be at the end of that year? All right. And most importantly, why? Why are you going to be setting out these goals and, finally taking massive amounts of action? All right. So all these things are going to be coming in collectively. So step 1 that I use when getting ready to write down my goals is I have to get myself into a peak state. All right. So whether that be doing a bunch of jumping jacks or, just repeating the word yes is often helpful to me. But if you start thinking about all the things that you want to accomplish, start making almost call it like a Christmas list, which is ideal for this time of year, right? So if you start doing out a Christmas list and you say, all right, I'm going to think like a kid, how excited I used to get when I was a kid thinking, all right, I'd like to get this for Christmas. If I could get this toy, it would be amazing. All right. So there's no reason for let that spirit leave you. You can still use that as an adult to think of the things that you want, whether it's material things, whether it's what you want to give of yourself to charity or to your church, whatever it might be. All right. So start making a list, but you've got to do it from a peak state. All right. You can't do goals from this. You got to be this. All right. You got to be super jacked and super excited about what you're going to do. So Second, flush them all out. I call this like a massive brain dump. All right, just get them all out on paper. Take 4 to 5 minutes and do not stop writing. Write out everything that you want, whether it be a new watch, a new car, if it's material, if you want to travel, if you want to be a better husband, a better spouse, a better father, whatever it might be. All right. So suspend disbelief and get them all out. All right. You don't have to say, oh, I could never own, a 20,000 square foot mansion. Don't let that get in the way. Be like a kid in a candy store. I like that. I like that. I like that. And just get it all out on paper, just over and over and over again. And, time it for 4 to 5 minutes until you can't write anymore. Okay. Step 3, you've got to look at each one of those goals and get very specific about them. What does that mean? Well, it means you can't just write down, I'd like to have a Porsche. All right. You have to write down the specific type of Porsche, the color, the features, how it smells, how it feels when you drive it, everything. You have to get super, super specific. All right. So if you're thinking about income, how much? All right. If you're thinking about, I want to buy X amount of properties, how many? All right. If you're thinking about, I want to have this much in passive income, how much? All right. You have to be very, very specific. All right. So champions, this is something I got from Ed Milet, who is brilliant, and a guy that I'm fortunate enough, well, I pay for it, but I'm fortunate enough to spend a good amount of time with him, a couple times a month. And he says that champions use exact numbers. They always know where they're going. All right. They can refocus in an instant. All right. Because they know exactly where their map is going to take them. All right. So step 3, get very, very specific. Step 4, you got to have somebody that holds you accountable. All right. Whether that's your spouse, coworker, your boss, it doesn't matter. Most of the people that we work with here are entrepreneurs. So who's going to hold you accountable? If you don't have a superior and you're running your own business, who's holding you accountable to your goals? You got to get somebody. So if it's somebody in a mastermind group or, a peer, a brother, a sister, whatever it may be, you have to share what your goals are and then meet with that person probably, at least once a month and say, this is where I am. All right. This is the progress that I've made. And if you've not made the progress that you promised you would make, they should be the ones holding you accountable. All right. So check with somebody maybe that's in your specific space. So in other words, let's say you had a fitness goal. All right. And your best friend is 350 pounds and out of shape. They're probably not the best person to hold you accountable. All right. So if I was looking to get in the best shape of my life, I'd probably talk to my boy Beyond Win, who's on here, and say, look, dude, I need your help staying accountable. And what can I do, to check in with you and let you know, hey, I did this. I got it done. All right. So that will keep you going. All right. So step 4, find an accountability partner. All right. Step 5, this is one of the most important ones. You have to read your goals at a minimum twice daily. All right. As if you expect them to happen. All right. Not as I hope these happen. No, they are happening. And here I'm reading them. All right. So you have to train yourself to do this. I do it multiple times a day. So I do it first thing in the morning. I write down my goals. In the evening, I write down my goals. And I will also take time to write out my goals if something is annoying me or gets on my nerves. I have to, especially in my business, I have to remember why I'm pushing so hard. All right. And sometimes that will be the thing that really takes it to the next level. So spend time reading them, visualizing them. And let's talk about visualization, because just reading them and writing them down is not the same as visualization. Okay. Visualization is when you start to see it in your mind. All right. So that might mean, all right, I'm driving this black Mercedes. It's got a tan leather interior, going through that whole thing, describing it in explicit detail. of what it is that you have. Some people use a vision board. My wife has one of those. I have some stuff on it. I look at it, but actually visualizing in my mind does the best service for me. You just have to find what works for you. So I also use a Post-it note. So every time I get into my car, which is several times a day, I see a Post-it note right by my speedometer that says visualize. It reminds me to take 30 seconds and just think about my goals, all right? When I come into my office, I have a little Post-it note here on my computer that says, and if you can see it, 10-second visualization, all right? I always want to remind myself that I've got to think about my goals, all right? Otherwise, I'm going to forget about them, all right? There's something I wrote down on a piece of paper because at the beginning of the year, that's what you're supposed to do, and I'll get to it later, all right? Can't have it. You have to constantly have them in front of you, all right? So the more your brain sees it, the more it's going to make it a reality. There's a thing that Tony Robbins talks about, that Ed Milet talks about. It's called the reticular activating system, all right? It is basically, in a nutshell, your brain's way of making something a reality, all right? So think about the kind of car you drive, all right? If you drive a blue Volkswagen, all of a sudden you start to see blue Volkswagens all over the road, right? They were there all before, but now you still see them, all right? You're seeing them more, all right? It's because your brain recognizes it's something that you like, all right? It's something that you're drawn to, attracted to, all right? So that's the power of visualization. It activates your reticular activating system. And if you do it a lot, your brain begins to believe it's real, and your brain begins to make it real, which is the most important, all right? Step 6, you got to have a deadline. There got to be specific dates. I will do this by. This will happen at this date, all right? So put it out X amount of weeks, whatever it is, all right? And then second, start putting notes into your phone, little alarms, all right? So if one of my goals is for this past year was I wanted to read 24 books, just 2 books a month, all right? Which is more than I've ever read in a year in my life, all right? I have reminders every week, every other week in my phone that says, hey, you've got this amount of time left to read 2 books for the month. So it reminds me, it pushes me more, all right? So I've got things in there for like a watch I want to buy. All right, you've got 2 months left to buy this watch, all right? What are you doing? And it basically brings you back in and says, okay, what am I doing or what am I not doing to achieve this goal? If I'm not taking the action I need to take, I got to turn it up now, all right? So keep them in front of you, but keep a deadline on yourself so that you're constantly pushing to where you want to go, all right? Step 7, write out your why for every single goal. I want to own this car. Why? What's the reason? What is it going to give you? What is the feeling you'll get when you own that car? All right. I want to have this many houses that produce this much income. Why? What's the point? Why do you want those things? All right. You have to be very specific. Again, well, it's going to allow me to travel. It's going to allow me to provide the life for my daughter that I never had. It's going to allow my wife to retire. It's going to allow, me to leave a legacy. It's going to allow me to donate to my church more. It's going to allow me to do this, that, the other. All right. Get very, very specific on your why. All right. That way you can tie more feelings to to every single goal. You have to do this with every single one of them. All right. I want to weigh 175 pounds. Why? I'll feel great. I'll have energy. I'll be there for my daughter when she gets married. I'll be healthy. All right. So that's the biggest thing that you have to have. If you have a big enough why, you will find any how to get the job done. All right. All right. Finally, what massive action? Step 8, massive action. You got to take it. All right. So if you put down these goals, you got to schedule them. You got to know your why, and then you have to go execute. Period. All right. Every single day you have to be executing. So what I like to do is I take my goal and I work it backwards. All right. So this was big when I was in financial services. So if I wanted to produce $10,000 in commission on a monthly basis and each phone call was worth $1 to me, well, that's how many dials I had to make in the month to make that happen. All right. So you can work everything backwards down to activity and then put those activities into your daily calendar. Andy Frisella from the MF CEO, one of my favorites, he has a thing called Win the Day. If you haven't heard that podcast, I suggest you listen to it over and over and over again. Win the Day by the MF CEO Project. He talks about just having 5 things every single day. If you get those 5 things done, you win the day. If you don't, you got to put an L on the day. You lost. All right. So stacking wins every single day is going to give you momentum, which leads me to the next point. So if you get momentum, the best way to get momentum starting out your year is to give yourself some small achievable goals to hit. All right. Don't put all of your big ones at the beginning. Oh, I got to make $100,000 this month. All right. Well, that might be a more long-term goal. All right. So maybe it's saying, all right, I need to make 2,000 dials this month. I got to pick up the phone 2,000 times. Okay. How many is that per day? All right. How many, if I work 6 days a week, how many is that per day? All right. So just give yourself some goals that you can achieve and stack and build some momentum. All right. That's going to drive you forward on achieving the bigger goals down the road. All right. Second tip, don't adjust your goals. Never adjust them downward. Only if you're going to adjust upward. All right. We never reduce the target. You only increase the activity that it's going to take to achieve that goal. All right. So I told you, I get a lot of things from a lot of different people. That's a big Grant Cardone thing. Never adjust the target. Only adjust your level of activity so that you can start to achieve that goal. All right. A lot of people start to dial down their goals through the year. All right. I'm just as guilty of that as anybody. All right. You get to November, you're like, well, Thanksgiving's here. Before you know, it's going to be the holidays, Christmas. Nobody's doing anything. That's crap. All right. People are doing things. All right. So you have to continually make sure that you are not dialing down your goals. Right? If you didn't hit a goal this month, you better stack it on top of what you're supposed to do next month and then increase the activity to catch up. All right. Couple other things, and then we'll wrap this up. Or if anybody wants to add some commentary, please do so. Resources. What are the resources that are going to help you with your goals? Are they books? Are they people? Are they courses, masterminds? What is it? All right. Write all those down next to your goals. All right. So if it's get to 10% body fat, I don't even know if that's good. It's probably better than what I am. But if 10% body fat is good, what is your resource to do that? Is it a physical trainer? Is it a workout buddy? Is it somebody you already know that's in tremendous shape? All right. You got to have some sort of a resource. All right. And then finally, most importantly, I think, is you have to increase your identity. 2019, if you do not work on increasing your identity, you're going to miss the boat. All right. Because you can achieve these goals, but if you don't have the right identity to go along with that, it's all going to mean nothing. All right. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a goal achieving monster, but you don't feel fulfilled, it's not going to matter. Right. So if you still have a negative attitude, sometimes it still creeps into you and you're like, oh God, I hate people and I hate the news and I hate this, that, and the other. All right. All that stuff has to get out of you. So, and the best way to do that is to build up your identity. So think about who you want to be. Odell Barnes REO is commenting good stuff. We're commenting on our own video. That's great. So, but set goals for your identity too. All right. Who is it you want to be? Who do you want to become in 2019? Who can help you do that? Who's your resource to be a better person? To, is it books? Again, is it people? Is it seminars? Whatever it is, you got to focus on increasing your identity. And I think the best way that you could do that is to shut off the TV, open a book, open lots of books, watch a lot of YouTube videos, listen to podcasts. These things have made a tremendous impact on my life in the last 2 years. If not for people like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, there's no way I would be where I am today. And I focused heavily on increasing my identity. All right. I read a tremendous amount of books this year. Some of them suck, but I get at least one thing out of every book, right? So increase your identity. It will be an absolute game changer for you, all right? So if anybody has any questions, you could throw those up in the comments section. Oh, thank you, Sheree. I appreciate it. Otherwise, if you share this afterwards, I will be glad to email you this Tony Robbins course that I did have. You can send me an email. Let me throw this up here real quick. obreo.net for those of you watching on Instagram. Send me an email. I'll be glad to just put Tony Robbins course in the subject line. I'll be glad to reply with those MP3s. But thank you so much for everybody attending. I appreciate it. Thanks, Beyond. I may hit you up in 2019 for the fitness stuff, just FYI. So if you're not following this guy, Beyond Win, out of Cleveland, you really should. Check him out on Instagram. He's always got great content, and the guy's crushing it in real estate. So I follow good people. I try to, all right? And that's what you need to do too. So crush your goals. If I could be a resource, I'd love to help you. But we can all grow together. You're absolutely right, Beyond. And the best is yet to come in 2019. I'm really excited. And so share your successes and let us know if we can help you build your real estate investing business with any of our inventory. As always, you can go to our website, which is odellbarnesreo.com. All right. So I appreciate you guys attending, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. All right, Simply Ciara. Where should I start? I'm a new mom. I have good credit, 750 and money saved up, but what else could I do in real estate? What would be the first step from here? Well, first you got to identify what your goals are. What kind of investor do you want to be? Do you want to be